All right, guys, I'm pretty excited to bring this one to you. But before we get started, as usual, I appreciate y'all coming and watching the videos, taking the time to do so. And please like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. So, what we got here is something I've been really excited about. One of our fellow TAPS members, investigators, Roy Parker, did this interview. And to give you the gist of it, somebody contacted one of his family members with something he had done. He wasn't really sure what to do, but the family member knew that Roy was active in the Bigfoot community. So he gave the guy Roy's number and got in contact with Roy. Now, what you're going to hear is the phone interview of this. And for one, I want to get it out of the way. We don't condone hunting Bigfoot, killing Bigfoot, unless your life depends on it. Sometimes people are just scared of something they don't recognize on this earth, and fear alone is enough to pull the trigger. But we didn't get more information on this, which we wish we could have, but it's just the way it went. So on June 24th is when Roy conducted the interview, and did an excellent job, by the way. But it's very descriptive. There's a lot of profanity, and I decided to keep this completely raw to keep it real. So, that being said, if profanity offends you, then don't watch the video, simply put. So, if you're not offended by the profanity, then keep on watching, because you won't be disappointed in this interview. Secondly, this guy was pretty excited about getting us actually out in the open. He made it sound like that was his goal. I don't want to say too much because in the interview, but we had constant communication with them from June 24th up to this past Wednesday, which was the 30th of June. Communication was pretty constant. The guy was a busy man, but he did communicate with us when he could. He's going to give us free reign of the territory, all of his land, the neighbor's land, some other things that happened, some other neighboring lands. He had 2 pictures that did not get erased by our dear government. You'll hear about that in the interview. He was going to share those with us. Like I said, everything just shut off Wednesday. He did state that you'll hear in the interview also that after this incident, there was always a cop on his county road before his house following the incident. So that was strange. Did the government, did somebody have a hand in this? Did somebody have a hand in silencing him? Or did he get scared? Or did somebody talk him out of it? We don't know. But we knew what county it was, so we figured, you know what, we're going to drive up there. And we drove up there on the 2nd. So we drove all the way up to the county up there. We got there about 5 o'clock p.m. and thought, well, we're here. So maybe if we contact them, letting them know we're here, then he'll talk to us or find another way to contact us. We did. We waited around for a few hours and heard nothing whatsoever. So in essence, you could say, oh, it was a wasted trip, but no, it wasn't. For a story like this, a story this big, if it's accurate, I would drive anywhere, just for the slight possibility of getting in contact with the individual. But the time wasn't exactly wasted. We went to the Quashita National Forest Friday night and stayed there. And probably about an hour after we get in there, about I guess it was about 10 p.m., we heard a nice vocal out there, and then some coyotes followed up. And then about 11:30 or midnight that night, nice loud tree bang. Fortunately, I was still up. Roy was asleep, but I woke him up, see if he heard it. He didn't, but that's okay. It was still, it came off as a great night anyways, but we were both just dead tired. We just couldn't stay up any later. Would have loved to do a little investigation out there, but it just didn't happen. So the interview, everything's in it, all the information's in it. It's brutally straight to the point. It's raw, it's unedited. We're going to play it for you. And after this, we're just going to give it some time to see if we can contact him later. We're going to let it lay low for a while. So fingers crossed that things work out. But if they don't, then this is what we have for you, and you'll just have to take it as it is.
Alrighty, let's see how you hear me on speakerphone. Alright, Jim, can you hear me good?
I can hear you. You're fine, sir.
Alrighty. Now, I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, if you will, sir. Kind of just to give everybody an idea who you are.
I'm a 22-year veteran Boilermaker. I started Boilermaking when I was 28 years old, and I've traveled the United States. I've worked for various companies, which all Boilermakers do. I'm not married. I've got one son. He's 22 years old. I tend to stay to myself out here on the farm and don't pester anybody when I'm home. And when I leave, I got one person that I trust that watches over the place. Yeah, and that's just, I mean, that's about it. And I own a lot of guns. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but I own a lot of guns.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Do you have any military background?
I do.
All right, you tell me a little bit about that, if you would.
The only job I had before I joined the Boilermakers, I was a United States Marine. I was in the invasion when we took Baghdad. I'd done a tour and a quarter. I got shot, and I got out on a medical discharge, and I traded my helmets for hard hats.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't nothing spectacular about it.
Yes, sir. Well, I do thank you for your service. Now, on the situation in hand, can you tell me a little bit about it? Kind of describe a little bit to me, and then I'll ask you questions as we go.
I'm going to just try to describe it to you in detail. This was a 3-day thing. I called Dawn on the first day. After what I didn't know what I seen, but I was pretty sure what I'd seen, but I didn't know it. And I was coming up out of my pasture. I went down and checked a cow that was Kevin, and I was coming up out of my pasture, and I was just glancing out across the grass, and there was something out there that was never there before. So I stopped the truck, and I'm looking, and it was out about 150, maybe 175. And all of a sudden, I got to watching it move its head. And all I could see was its head and something lighter, but it wasn't standing up, because I know this piece of ground. This piece of ground is, you can shoot a pool ball across this piece of ground.
Yes.
And I'm watching it, and then I get to watching it, and all of a sudden, just right in front of me, it just stood up and did a 180 and walked probably 10 steps, and then turned straight south and walked straight into the cedar trees. And I just stood there and raised my cap and scratched my head, and I went on to the house, and my sister, she was at the house at that time, because she always comes by. And I told her, I said, I just either seen somebody blowing something up my ass, or I seen something that I don't know nothing about. I said, won't you guys, and I was spooked a little bit, and I don't get spooked.
Yes, sir.
I said, I'm going to take that 223 out of the truck. I said, I'm going to grab a 300 mag. I said, let's go back down there. I said, you just stay in the truck, but we're going to drive right to where it was at. I said, you stay in the truck in case anything goes wrong. I said, run over it or me. I don't give a shit. And she said, hey, how much have you had to drink today? And I said, I've had one beer. I'm good. And we drove back down there, and the ground where it was at, it ain't compact, but it's not, a deer can't make a track on it. but I could see where it crushed grass down, and I could see where the grass where it was squatted was crushed down.
Yes, sir.
And when I went to where it went into, where I thought it went into the cedars, I thought there ain't no way in hell. I'm 6'1", I weigh 195 pounds, and I can't push my way through them cedars.
Yes, sir. Cedar tree is very hard.
Huh?
Cedar trees are very hard.
Especially if they're as thick as these are, and there ain't no way. I mean, I can't push my way through them, and I'm pretty stout.
Yes, sir.
And I went back and I told Sis, I said, I don't know what I seen. So she left, and I got to thinking about it that night, and I had another beer or two, and I called Don. I told Don, I said, what do you think I saw? He said, could have saw a ghost. I said, you think so? He said, you live on tribal land. He said, do you not believe in them? I said, oh, I believe in them. He said, you could have saw a ghost. I said, well, I'm just telling you what I saw, Don. And I said, I don't want you to think I'm drunk. I don't want you to think I'm crazy. Don said, no, I don't think you're drunk. He said, I know you're not drunk because you ain't talking. You're not slurred and you're not babbling.
Yes, sir.
He said, I know when you call me when you're drunk. I said, well, it kind of spooked me. Don said, well, it was spooked the shit out of me too. And the next day, I done my same routine like I do every evening when I come in from work. I go down and I check that pasture. Then I come back up toward the house, and I check my 2 water tanks, and then I consider my days done, especially in the summer. And on the 3rd day, now you got to remember, I still had the 300 mag in my pickup.
Yes, sir.
I come back by the same spot, and there was nothing there, and I rolled through a little clump of persimmon trees, and it comes into another clearing, and as soon as I come through that clearing, it just turned and looked straight at me, and this time I had my bearings on, and I just put the crosshairs in the middle of his chest and touched the trigger. And the only thing I could think of was, I hope you're not a human fucking with me, because I've just committed murder. And the 300 didn't even knock it down. And when I tell you I put it between the chest, I was a half inch above its breastplate, and it didn't knock it down. It moved it backwards, and it kind of went down a little bit, and then turned, and it went south again, like it's going toward the river.
Yes, sir.
Both times it went south, like going toward the river. And this time, I didn't move the truck again. I just sat there. And I said, well, I've shot a lot of deer in my life, and I've shot a few elk. And you hit something that hard with a 165 grain Grand Slam bullet, if you give it a few minutes, it'll bleed out.
Yes, sir.
And I went down to where exactly this time, and I took a picture of that, and they took it off my phone. I took a picture of where it tried to get back up, and it dug into the dirt with its foot that time. And when it went into the trees, and it went into them persimmons, and I found blood on a leaf, and I said, okay, that's good. That son of a bitch is hit. That's what I want to see. But the blood I seen is tit high to me. And my sister's like, are you sure you didn't shoot a deer? I said, I ain't never shot a 6 foot fucking tall deer in my life.
Yes, sir.
And she said, like, I ain't going out there with you. So she called her boyfriend, soon to be husband. He's like, hey, I'll go out with you. And we took off walking. And I told him, I said, I'm not looking low for the blood. I'm looking up here. Why is that? I walked back and I showed him. I said, the blood's up here. We made it about 120 yards, and I said, right there's something fucking piled up. Right there. We went over that. We went right to where he's at, and it was a male, because it had a penis.
Yes, sir.
And he said, what the fuck did you shoot? I said, try to pull a mask off that son, but he said, I ain't fucking touching it. I said, well, hold the fucking gun. And it wasn't a fucking mask.
Gotcha.
And he's like, I don't know how we're going to get it out of here. I said, I do. I'm going to get that Kubota tractor. That son of a bitch is coming out of here. I don't know what to do with it. I ain't gonna call nobody. I don't know. I said, we gotta start thinking. He said, we ain't gotta do shit. He goes, I ain't no part of this. I said, well, then you all need to fucking leave. I said, because I gotta go to thinking. I said, fuck, I don't know what this fucking thing is. It ain't a human. I said, it was probably when they took it, I measured it, but I didn't get an accurate measurement on it. 6'9"
Yes, sir.
is what I got.
That's pretty good size.
Well, that was just laying a 2x4 flat on its head, because it's laying down, and I did roll it over on 2 pieces of plywood. That way I could pick it up with forks. But that was just a piece of 2x4 laying on its head, and me putting the tape measure and going down to what I called the end of the foot.
Yes, sir.
And I took some pictures with my phone, and it was probably about 3 hours after that I called Dawn. I said, Dawn, I don't know what the fuck I shot, but I shot that son of a bitch. I said, it's down there at the barn now. Dawn said, oh shit. I said, no, I killed a son of a bitch. I said, I don't know what to do. And my sister, her soon-to-be husband, talked her into calling the fucking sheriff the next day. The sheriff told me, I was at work. He asked me if I could leave work and come to my farm immediately, or he needed to go get a warrant. And I said, no, I'll be there. And I told my boss, I said, I gotta go. I said, the sheriff wants to talk to me. Boss was like, what'd you do now? I said, I ain't done nothing. I said, I don't know what the hell's going on. I said, I'll be back tomorrow. And when I got there, the sheriff's like, what the hell's going on out here? He said, your sister called, said you shot a fucking gorilla. I said, I don't know if it's a fucking gorilla. It's down there by the barn. I got it in the shade. He's like, well, fuck, let me open the gate. Let's go look at it. So we drove down. I drove him down there. And he looked at it. He's like, I got to make a phone call. Walked over and got in his pickup. He made a phone call, and he come back, and he said, Jim, he said, I'm not putting you under arrest. He said, but do you have anything on you that could harm me? I said, we're on private property. I can have anything I want, I think. He says, do you have anything on you right now that could harm me? I said, you know goddamn good and well I carry a pocket knife. He said, would you at least put your pocket knife on the dash you pick up? And by that time, I could see he was spooked. Because that old sheriff, I've known him all my life. He ain't never done that to me.
Yes, sir.
And then 2 OSBI showed up. Well, a highway patrol showed up, excuse me. A highway patrol showed up. And he asked the sheriff if I had been detained. The sheriff said, yes, he is detained. He said, well, he is not in handcuffs. The sheriff said, I have not arrested him. And then 2 game wardens showed up, one from Pawnee County, one from Osage County. The game wardens told the highway patrol that there's no reason to arrest this man yet. We don't see what he's done wrong. We don't know what we have, but if he's protecting personal property or in fear of his life, he's in good. The only thing that he hadn't done, he should have called us immediately. And then 2 other guys showed up, no, 4. They were in one vehicle, 4 of them, in a Suburban, a gray Suburban. And I got their tag number on a picture. They didn't take that picture off my phone.
All right.
They showed up, and that was Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. And they started questioning the game wardens. The game wardens were trying to give them the answers that I was giving them, and I finally got pissed off, sir. I'm like, hey, let's just cut through the fucking middleman. Why don't we all just stand around here in a goddamn circle and get this out one more motherfucking time? That way this shit don't get passed down the fucking hill. And one of the OSBI officers, which was an older gentleman, and the name on his shirt was Clark. C-L-A-R-K.
Yes, sir.
He said, I like the way you want to do business. And I said, there ain't no business to this. I said, we're all on private property. I said, I don't know what I got. You don't know what I got. And I looked at that older officer. I said, you goddamn sure don't know what I got. He said, well, we have some other people coming out. And they showed up in two white, they looked like rented cars. They were Chevrolets, but they were white four-door cars. They're the ones that body bagged it and brought me to their car and set me in their car. And they said, you don't know what you have. We kind of know what you have. And the way to clear this up is we need your cell phone and any other thing that you can take a picture with. I said, I'm pretty simple. I said, all I got's a cell phone. I didn't tell them about my iPad.
Yes, sir.
And I wish I'd have took a lot more pictures with it, but I took only 2 pictures with it.
All right.
And they took my phone. One of them left that car and went to the other car, and they were gone about 20 minutes. And I just finally asked him, I said, am I going to jail? He said, not today, you're not, no. He said, but you might. I said, well, that's all I need to know. I said, I need to know that I need to know if I need to get a lawyer or not. He said, it's not a bad idea to have a lawyer.
Just trying to scare you.
I said, well, if I'm going to jail, I said, I guess I'll just go to jail. He said, well, you're not today. I'm telling you, you're not today. They body bagged it. They put it in the tan Suburban. They folded the seats. They all slid it in there, and they left the sheriff. And the sheriff said, here's what we do. We act like nothing ever fucking happened, and you never seen nothing. And I can clean this fucking slate up, and you'll never hear nothing else about it. I said, really? And I started opening my phone. I was going to show him. I said, I got all the proof in the world. And all of a sudden, all them fucking pictures are gone. And my sister, she's a phone wizard. I'm like, can you pull them pictures back up? She said, yeah, they're going to be on your memory. I said, pull them back up. They erased the memory out of my phone, too.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm not a phone wizard, so I didn't know all that.
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
It could be backed up in the cloud. Very possible. All right.
I'll have Sis look at that when she gets off work this evening.
Yes, sir. So you covered a lot of my questions for sure.
And I haven't seen anything since. But I do notice that this is strange for living on the same place for 20 years. Now when I come down my county road, every day I see a fucking deputy now. And I've never seen one in 20 years.
Wow.
Every day I see a deputy. It's like, I don't know. I almost want to say that either they're fucking harassing me or they're looking as well.
Very well possible.
I don't know which one though. I mean, there ain't no reason to harass me. I don't do anything besides I come home and do my chores and sit on the porch and drink a few beers.
Yes,
A few
sir.
beers, that's it. I don't even go to town after I come home, so.
I wouldn't worry about the sheriff harassing you. It'd be someone else. But I'm willing to bet you'll be left alone.
Okay.
Alrighty.
What do you think the OSBI, and I don't know what them other fellers was, because they've got my full name, because every one of them took my fucking ID.
They're going to be some sort of government official. Some sort of government official.
With me?
Nah, I don't think so. If they wanted to, they would have already. This subject is always trying to be hushed.
Why? It needs to be known.
I believe that it's all about the logging industry. And not only that, land, you wouldn't be able to timber, and they'd want to preserve land. people want more knowledge about it, etc. And and that'll stop a lot of your housing. It changed a lot of things, and I think that's what the government wants to avoid.
Well, I live in a very rural community. I'm talking, if you drive to town, which is 7 miles, population 235, everybody that lives in town owns 640 or more acres outside of town. They just live in town for the convenience of having one store. They ain't got to drive them dirt roads during the afternoon. I'm still a diehard. I still live out here on the farm, so.
Yes, sir.
And now I'm convinced there's more things on that river bottom than what we know about.
Well, Bigfoot can just kind of open a realm for a whole new different things. It depends on how you open your mind and how you see and how you're willing to look and think.
Well, I'll tell you straight up, and I ain't gonna lie about it at all, because I don't lie. Now when I'm sitting on the porch of an evening, I'm staring up in the fucking sky like I never did before. I'm just staring at shit, trying to see if I can see something move that don't move.
Yes, sir.
And then I listen a lot at night.
Yes,
now
sir.
I listen a lot at night.
You hear a lot of coyotes out there?
I did, and then I didn't, and now you can hear a few coming back.
Okay.
Well, because there's a lot of recordings and a lot of things. They will holler out a lot of times with the coyotes because they're out at night as well during the day. But I've heard several recordings where you can tell the difference because of, I guess, the syllables or whatever you'd say on the vocals.
Yep.
Yes. And it's very interesting.
Well, now I've got a question for you. Now you brought that up.
Yes, sir.
I don't know anything about what this thing was. I mean, Dawn is convinced, and I'm convinced that we know it wasn't human, and Dawn's like, let me get in touch with a guy that knows what it is. And he got me in touch with you. Do these things run in packs and families?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. They call them more of a clan.
Like a mom and dad.
Are they?
Kids.
I hate to use rude language. Are they fucking vengeful?
They can be, yes.
Oh fuck.
But no, hey, don't get too scared right now.
So,
Now, if you per se killed maybe a child or a female, then I'd be more scared. Now, you took out the male, pretty large male, so maybe, I don't think you'll have any problems. You hadn't had any problems in days? How long's it been now?
Now today's day 9. Today is day 9 since they confiscated it. So that'd be 9, 10, 11, 12 days. I had to think of the day I shot and then the day they confiscated, because I had it for 2.5 days.
Okay, and what day did you shoot this thing? It is June now.
I can tell you exactly what day. It was fucking Wednesday at 5:48 when I looked at my radio after I put the rifle back down in the seat. And the June date, it was payday, so that would have to be on a Thursday.
12 days from now.
I would have to backstep. And I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Hang on just 1 second. Now, I'm trying to take a look.
And I might be off, but no, it was payday because I had my fucking paycheck on the sun visor.
2 weeks from now would have been about the 10th.
That's going to seem about right because that's when that little cool front was here. We had just a little old cool front come through, and it was here for about 3 or 4 days.
Maybe just passing through searching for food.
I don't know. I seen it twice,
Yes, sir.
and both times. Well, the second time, both times it would headed for the fucking river. The river's a half a mile from me.
Might have been interested in your cows, maybe your calf.
That crossed my mind. But there's another little thing. I haven't lost a chicken since then either, because all my chickens don't go to pen. I leave them on the yard,
Bingo.
and they kind of roost out by the barn.
Yes, sir.
And they roost about, I don't know, neck high. They're fat old chickens. They don't get very high. But for about a month and a half, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd count, I'd be down from 14 to 13, and then I was down from 13 to 12, and then I was down from 12 to 9, but there wasn't no feathers. And I was just thinking, hell, no owls hitting them. I just probably ought to, stay up one night, wait for him to come in hooting and shoot him. But now I've lost no chickens since then either.
Yes, sir. That's bingo. They will eat your chickens. That's a known thing.
But he didn't leave. He didn't leave no feathers.
No, sir.
And I never did. I never even thought about looking for a track at that point. I just know there was chicken gone. That's all I can tell you. I mean, I didn't look for a track. Chicken gone.
Gotcha.
Damn owls. That's all I can think of. Damn owls, because owls the only thing that'll pick a chicken up, not take it'll take the feathers and all. They won't pick them right there. Well, that's what I thought at that time. Now I know a little bit different. And of a night, my horses would stay up by the barn. Both horses will stay up right by the barn. When normally you could sit on the porch at about 9:30, you could watch them. They'd be kind of out there beside the house, grazing in the pasture.
They were scared because it was around. It was watching, so they was up by the barn where they feel comfortable. Have you found any of the manes or anything like that, ponytailed or anything on the horse?
No, they'd never been touched.
Never been touched. All right.
No, not by nothing but me. I mean, and I brush them about every other day and get ready for ropings with them. But no, no harm had come to either one of them.
Gotcha.
But like I said, and I didn't put nothing with that, except they stayed up by that barn. And they never done that before. I'd have to whistle them in to get them to trailer them to go to a roping.
Yes, sir.
So now a lot of little stuff's kind of adding up. That's happened over, I want to say, 3 months, of little things that's adding up.
Now you might have a small clan of them living right there nearby, for sure. Within a couple miles, because they're known to travel and travel fast.
Well, like I said, every time he went south toward that river.
They're known to stay in the bottoms. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is definitely the river bottom. And the first time he went south, and the second time, when I punched him, I punched a hole in him, he turned and went south. I mean, due south, right straight toward the river.
He was heading home.
And when we found him, he was laying head facing south because he fell face down. He bled out finally.
Bled out, yes, sir. Did you notice any distinctive markings? Anything different? Kind of give me a little description, hair color, stuff like that.
It was, I can give you a distinct description of the hair color. It wasn't a sandy blonde, but it wasn't brown. And there was streaks of especially on the chest, there were streaks of gray. And in his muzzle was almost turning all gray.
You got an older an adult male.
I don't know that.
Yes, sir.
And I can tell you for a fact that they've got almost human teeth, except they carry two really good sets of canines that don't protrude from the lip by no means. But I did roll its lips up to look at teeth, and I kept a pair of rubber gloves on to keep my fingerprints off of it. But I rolled its lips up. It had bottom canines. One of them was chipped, and it would have been on its left-hand side. It was chipped about a quarter of the way off. And the upper canines were in perfect shape, and his dental was perfect. I mean, perfect.
Yes, sir.
But besides one canine. And he did have dual canines, top and bottom. And they subsided. They were side by side. When he closed his mouth, they were side by side.
Side by side.
He did not have pointed ears like I've heard. He had kind of like human ears, but they laid flat to the side of his head. He did have earlobes. And the top half was covered with hair, and the bottom half you could see distinctly. And they don't stink like people say they stink. He did not have an odor to him.
Now, was the top of his head kind of rounded, kind of domed-like, in a way?
I'm going to say rounded, yes.
Rounded, all right.
Definitely rounded. Hell, I mean, it could almost be identified as a very large human skull.
Yes, sir.
And he had the nose was kind of built humanish, but the nostrils were very huge.
Almost gorilla-like.
Yes, I'd say yes, but it wasn't flat to his face either.
No, more of a human-looking nose.
Yes.
Now, his skin, his facial features. Now, what color would you say his skin was? Was it gray?
No, it looked like it had been tanned in the sun. His skin looked like he had a damn good suntan. It was tan. His skin was tan.
Yes, sir.
Just like he worked in the sun all summer long. And I can tell you right now, the bottom of his feet, I'd never felt a foot that rough in my entire life. It felt like the calluses were, if they were calluses, and I don't know that they were, it felt like they were fucking inch thick.
Big old pads.
He could walk over nails, I guarantee you. He could have walked over nails.
Big old pads.
They were huge, and they covered all 5 toes on both feet.
Awesome.
And his toenails and his hand nails were not grotesque. They looked as they weren't manicured by no means, but they weren't long and jagged. They were all, I wouldn't say trimmed, but they were all rounded. They weren't built like claws by no means.
Gotcha. You're hitting about every point that I can think of here. Did you take a measurement?
Another distinct feature that I did notice.
Yes, sir.
Because I messed with it before rigor mortis set in. Both thumbs were double jointed.
Gotcha.
Like he could lay that thumb, if he had to, he could lay it over the back of his own hand.
Gotcha.
And not hurt himself.
Very flexible, indeed. That's for probably walking on his hands also. more
Well,
like gorilla style.
and he was clean. That's the thing. Everybody. Well, my sisters told 2 or 3 people. I told her, I said, keep your fucking mouth shut. I don't want the news involved in this. I said, because now I don't have anything but 2 pictures, and I ain't going to give them 2 pictures up because they didn't know I took them with my iPad. I said, I just got to Don, and then when I was talking to Don, Don's like, I got to put you in touch with the right person. He said, they're probably even going to come to Oklahoma. They want to look this country over. And all I can do is invite y'all up. I'll take you right to where everything happened.
Exactly what I'm looking for, sir.
And you all can stay as long as you want. I got a mother-in-law house right down below my house. Y'all are welcome to it instead of staying in a motel. That way you're right here on the farm.
Yes, sir.
But when now you said they run in clans and I didn't know if they did. I didn't know. Now you said they do, and I did asked about vengeful. Oh shit.
I wouldn't worry about the vengefulness.
I don't want to kill a whole family of them son of bitches, but I ain't going to die in the fucking process.
Yes, sir.
I mean, but like I said, he had a lot of gray. Maybe he was a dominant male. I don't know, but I know he was a male because he had a penis and he had a scrotum.
Did you happen to measure his feet?
You know, I did not do that. I can tell you one thing. I wear a size 11, and he doubled that. And on width-wise, if I had doubled my fist up and put my hand on the ground width-wise to the wide side of his foot, you just have to measure my arm. It went almost up. It went up halfway up my forearm.
Damn.
And I got pretty good size arms.
Very
And
interesting.
like I said, when he dug in, when I shot him, he dug in with 1 foot, trying to move. I know what he was doing. He's trying to move. He dug in with 1 foot, and I could put both of my feet sideways in that dig, or not sideways, side by side. I could put them in that dig spot.
Dang.
They would fit almost perfectly.
How much you say he weighed? Close to upper 1,000 pounds?
Yeah, I'm good at grading cattle. I'm gonna say he was 750 to 825. Every bit of it. Every inch of that. His freaking forearms were as big around as my waist. And I wear a 36-inch jean. That was his forearms.
I hear a lot about it being very, very muscular.
You couldn't put a fingerprint in his chest muscles. You couldn't do it. I know boys that work their whole life to get big muscles, and they won't never have shit what he had.
I understand. .6'9" tall.
That was just me pulling. That was just a Stanley tape measure coming off of a 2x4 that was on top that I put sideways on top of his head, and I kind of called it square. I didn't get all technical with it, but that was laid stretched out on 2 pieces of plywood.
Are you willing to go on? We can do a recording, but we don't have to video you. We can video like the property. We won't show the house. We don't have to show your face.
I'll be willing to do it all. I don't care if anybody sees me or not.
Yes.
I know what I've done, and they can call me a liar, and I don't care.
Yes, sir.
'Cause I still got 2 pictures. As long as all them people in them Suburbans don't know about those 2 pictures, then I got the cat by the ass.
They got what they wanted already.
They didn't know about the 2 pictures on the iPad, though.
Yeah, but pictures are harmless. Lots of people have pictures and they're always debunked.
Do you have a picture of something laid on a piece of plywood beside a pickup that you can identify because you can read the fucking tag number?
Damn it, sir. No, sir.
Well, I just happen to have one of those.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
I didn't realize until me and my sister was looking at it. I said, well, fuck, that's my tag number off my gray Dodge. Because we took a picture at an angle, and then we took one straight down. The angle picture, you can argue that all you want. Anybody in the world can argue it. How in the fuck do you take an angle picture of something laying on 2 pieces of plywood in a lawn with the person's fucking vehicle right there? And you can run the tag number and they'll tell you it's in my goddamn name.
But I would like the tag number off the OSBI vehicle.
I will send that to you. Not only do I got it wrote down, sister took a picture of it because they didn't ask for her fucking phone.
All right.
And she also got a picture off of one of the white rental cars. I call them rental cars. I don't know if they were or not.
All right. Send me that information too, if you will.
I will. When she gets
I'll do
off
some
work,
looking
I'll tell you
into
all
it.
that.
All right.
I just want to make sure that them fuckers ain't gonna fuck with me no more because this needs to be known, and I don't really want it to go away, but I'd like for it to go further down the fucking road than where it's at right now.
Well, you're not the only one. There's thousands of people out there, if not millions of people. And the sightings are out there. The more you have become aware of it, the more you'll find it. The more you seek, the more you know.